Howard Community College's partnership with the Howard County Poetry and Literature Society began in 2003, and over the years it has flourished. Angela Phillips has more on the story.
Co-chair for the Howard County Poetry and Literature Society Board of Directors and HCC English professor Dr. Tara Hart helped facilitate the agreement between the two organizations, and it has been a wonderful collaboration for the college.
What I think HoCoPoLitSo's presence does for us is keep us not only aware of the exciting things in the literary world that are happening at the moment, but we offer this extraordinary access for students to the writers that come right here. And very often for the students, there are free events or significantly reduced prices for them.
The Howard County Poetry and Literature Society, affectionately known as HoCoPoLitSo, was founded in 1974 by Ellen Conroy Kennedy.
The Kennedys were one of the, early settlers that they call them in Columbia, one of the first families, and she and her friends, who all are literature lovers and love arts and culture, and Ellen is an author herself and actually a National Book Award finalist, she and her friends would travel wherever they needed to see the authors that they loved, the writers and the poets. So they would go to DC or Baltimore or even New York to see them. And what I understand is that they had a conversation one day where they said, wouldn't it be wonderful to bring these people here to our community and let people see them in a much more intimate setting and feel like they really met them and listened to them and didn't have to stand in line with hundreds of other people to sign their books.
HoCoPoLitSo's mission is to enlarge the audience for contemporary poetry and literature and the world literary heritage.
So we try to attract the very best writers from anywhere in the world and, as I say, bring them here to this community and let our audience have an experience and feel that they were able to truly hear and appreciate, and not just the writer, but each other, to meet other people in their community who love writing and to have those experiences.
It's really ridiculous how many of the world's great writers have been in this little tiny community college campus. Stanley Kunitz at the Lower Nursing Lounge, a space that's not there anymore. He was here a couple of times. Grace Paley on the stage at Smith Theater, Amiri Baraka, Saul Bellow.
We've had 3 Nobel laureates and many award-winning writers. We were very fortunate to have Lucille Clifton not only several times as a poet, but she also served on our board as artistic director for many years. We've had Robert Haas, Seamus Haney, more recently Colin McCann. And this year's Irish Evening, we have our Irish writers from Ireland are Teo Durgan and Paula Meehan.
HoCoPoLitSo's Irish Evening is a fundraising event held annually at the college.
So what happens is we have first the literary part of the evening, and very often we have the Irish ambassador introduce the writer. And then during intermission, people can mingle, enjoy refreshments, get books signed, and then go back in for Irish music by narrowbacks and step dancers. So it's a really festive event.
The Blackbird Poetry Festival is another event sponsored by HoCoPoLitSo each year.
The Blackbird Festival is traditionally held in April, which is National Poetry Month, and usually on the last Thursday of April because that's National Poem in Your Pocket Day.
National Poem in Your Pocket Day encourages people to share the art and joy of poetry by literally carrying a poem in their pocket all day.
What the Blackbird Poetry Festival Committee came up with was, why don't we make sure that they do by actually having poetry police go around and ask people if they have a poem in their pocket and issue citations for people who don't. Of course, the citations are let them know about the Blackbird Poetry Festival, and they contain a poem as well, so that now they have a poem to put in their pocket.
The Blackbird Poetry Festival is hosting the very popular Billy Collins.
And he is the poet that I always teach to students who know the least about poetry, because his poems are kind of deceptively simple, but very accessible.
Since 1986, Howard Community College's television station has been producing a 30-minute program for HoCoPoLitSo.
It's a literary talk show where one writer talks to another writer over a coffee table, and the television camera eavesdrops. A brilliant idea, and it was a way for HoCoPoLitSo to capture and record these great treasures of American history, world history too.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity sometimes to bring certain people together. And now, not only is it broadcast through cable television as it's been for many years, but HoCoPoLitSo has a YouTube channel. And so people all over the world are watching these episodes.
HoCoPoLitSo is also active within the Howard County school system, seeking grant money to fund a writer in residence each year for the county high schools.
Very often the poets also have some kind of teaching background or experience in working with young people, so that they become like poetry ambassadors in the high schools. They go in and will do a workshop or some kind of interactive experience with the students and let them in kind of behind the curtain and try to demystify the world of poetry or writing.
As HoCoPoLitSo celebrates its 40th anniversary this year, the organization continues to bring great literature to the county.
I think as a relatively small organization that has a long history and is so embedded in the community, I think it becomes more and more clear over time that it's not just a privilege to work with the organization, but it's kind of a responsibility to this community. They have high standards for arts and culture in Howard County, and we're part of that, and we want to kind of honor that expectation.
For more information on HoCoPoLitSo, check out their website at HoCoPoLitSo.org. You can also find them on Facebook at facebook.com/HoCoPoLitSo.